My parents bought my sister her first house when she was 25, not helped with a down payment. Bought, outright, $350,000 in cash for a beautiful 3-bedroom craftsman in a trendy neighborhood with granite counters and hardwood floors, and a backyard perfect for the golden retriever they also bought her. I was 27 at the time, living in a 500-square-foot studio apartment with a kitchenette so small I had to choose between a microwave or a toaster because there wasn't counter space for both. My shower was in the kitchen, not near the kitchen, in the kitchen. The previous tenant had installed a showerhead over the sink and put up a plastic curtain. That was my shower. When my sister Melissa posted photos of her new house on Facebook, the comments poured in. "Congratulations, so beautiful, you deserve it," my mother commented. "So proud of my baby girl, hard work pays off." Hard work? Melissa had been working as a part-time social media coordinator for a boutique hotel, 20 hours a week at $18 an hour. She made about $20,000 a year, but sure, hard work bought her a $350,000 house. I didn't comment, I just scrolled past, feeling the familiar burn of resentment in my chest, and went back to eating my 99-cent ramen noodles for the third night in a row. My name is Daniel Cross. I'm the oldest of 2 children, and I've spent my entire life watching my parents give my sister everything while I got nothing. It wasn't always obvious. When we were kids, it was subtle. Melissa got dance lessons and piano lessons and art camp. I got library books and told to use my imagination. Melissa got new clothes every season. I got hand-me-downs from cousins. Melissa's birthday parties were events with bounce houses and magicians. Mine were sheet cakes from the grocery store with family only. "Boys don't need as much," my mother would say when I asked why. "You're tougher, you'll be fine." When Melissa wanted to go to overnight summer camp, $2,000 a session, my parents paid. When I wanted to go to coding camp, $500, they said we couldn't afford it. "It's different," my father explained. "Melissa needs the social development. You can learn computers on your own." So I did. I taught myself to code using free online resources and library computers. I was 12. High school was worse. Melissa got a brand new car for her 16th birthday, a Honda Civic, nothing fancy but new, with a bow on it in the driveway. There were pictures, a whole photo shoot. I got my license at 16 and was told I could borrow the family minivan if it wasn't being used. It was always being used, so I rode my bike or took the bus. In rain, in snow, to school, to my part-time job, to everything. "Melissa needs reliable transportation for her activities," my mother said. "She's very busy." Melissa's activities were cheerleading and shopping with friends. My activities were working 20 hours a week at a grocery store and maintaining a 4.2 GPA in AP classes. But sure, she was the busy one. College was the breaking point. Melissa wanted to go to a private liberal arts college 3 states away. Tuition was $60,000 a year. My parents paid, all of it. Room, board, tuition, fees, spending money. They even bought her a new laptop, a new wardrobe, and new furniture for her dorm room. I wanted to go to the state university 2 hours away. Tuition was $18,000 a year. I was told to take out student loans. "We're already stretched thin with Melissa's education," my father said. "You'll have to figure it out. You're paying $60,000 for her, and you can't help at all with my $18,000. Melissa's school is a better fit for her. She needs the small class sizes and personal attention. You're smart, you'll succeed anywhere." So I took out loans, worked full-time while going to school full-time, lived off campus in progressively worse apartments to save money, graduated in 4 years with $40,000 in debt. Melissa took 6 years to graduate because she changed her major 4 times and needed to find herself. My parents paid for all 6 years, $360,000 total. She graduated with a degree in communications and no debt. I graduated with a degree in computer science and a mountain of loans. When Melissa wanted to move to the city after college, my parents paid her rent for a year, just until she gets on her feet, they said. The apartment was in a luxury building with a doorman, $1,500 a month, $18,000 total. When I moved to the city for a job, I lived in a basement studio in a building with a roach problem, $700 a month, which I paid myself. Melissa got a job at the boutique hotel making $20,000 a year. My parents were thrilled, posted about it on Facebook like she'd been made CEO. I got a job as a software developer making $70,000 a year. My parents said, "That's nice, honey," and changed the subject. For the next 3 years, my parents continued to subsidize Melissa's life. They paid for her vacations, her new car when the Civic got old, her furniture, her wardrobe, her gym membership, her Netflix and Spotify and every other subscription service. I paid for everything myself: rent, food, loans, transportation, everything. I watched it happen: every gift, every check, every Facebook post about helping my daughter live her best life. I watched and I said nothing because what could I say? They'd made their choice. Melissa was the favorite. I was the afterthought. Then came the house. Melissa decided she wanted to buy instead of rent. She was 25, had been working part-time for 3 years, had maybe $5,000 in savings, not enough for a down payment, let alone enough to buy. My parents bought her the house, cash, $350,000. I found out on Facebook like everyone else. Photos of Melissa holding keys, standing on her new porch, posing in her new kitchen. The caption, "Dream come true, homeowner at 25, blessed beyond measure." My mother's comment, "So proud, hard work and good values pay off." I stared at my phone screen in my terrible studio apartment and felt something break inside me. Hard work, good values. Melissa had neither. What she had were parents who funded her entire existence. I called my mother. "You bought Melissa a house." "We helped her get started. The market is so competitive." "You bought her a house, $350,000. "It's an investment. She needed something stable." "I need something stable. I'm living in a place where I shower in my kitchen." "Daniel, don't be dramatic. You have a good job. You can afford a better apartment." "I'm paying off student loans. Loans I had to take because you wouldn't help me with college while you paid $500,000 for Melissa's 6-year journey of self-discovery." "That's different. Melissa needed our support. You've always been independent." "I've always been ignored. There's a difference." "That's not fair. We love you both equally." "Do you? Because the math doesn't support that. You've given Melissa, what, $700,000 over the last 10 years. You've given me nothing. Zero. That's not equal, Mom. That's not even close." "We give what each child needs. Melissa needs more support." "Melissa needs to grow up. She's 25 years old and she's never paid for anything herself. You're not helping her. You're crippling her." "Don't tell me how to parent. We're doing what we think is best." "For who? For Melissa? Or for yourselves so you can feel needed?" She hung up on me. I sat in my apartment, looking around at my pathetic life. 700 square feet of dysfunction, a shower in the kitchen, ramen for dinner, student loan statements piling up on my second-hand desk. And 20 minutes away, my sister was decorating her 3-bedroom house that she didn't earn, didn't pay for, and would never appreciate. I made a decision that night. I was done being the responsible one, the independent one, the one who didn't need help. I was going to build something so big, so successful, that my parents would have to see me. And when they did, when they finally noticed me and wanted to be part of my success, I was going to tell them no. I started small. I was already working as a software developer making $70,000 a year. Good money, but not enough. I needed more. I started freelancing, built websites and apps on nights and weekends, charged cheap because I was building a portfolio and a reputation, made an extra $1,000 a month. I lived like I was broke, stayed in my terrible apartment, kept eating ramen, didn't buy anything I didn't absolutely need, saved every spare dollar. Within a year, I had $20,000 saved. I quit my job and went full-time freelance. Scary as hell, but I was hungry, motivated by years of resentment and a burning need to prove myself. I worked 80-hour weeks, took every project I could get, built a reputation for delivering quality work fast and under budget. By the end of year 2, I was making $120,000 a year freelancing. I hired my first employee, a designer I found online. We started taking bigger projects. I moved to a better apartment, nothing fancy, but the shower was in the bathroom where it belonged. Progress. My parents didn't notice. They were too busy posting about Melissa's life, her beautiful home, her garden, her golden retriever named Sunshine, her perfect life funded by their money. Year 3, my little freelance operation grew. I hired 3 more people. We moved into a real office, started calling ourselves a company, Crossdeck Studios. We specialized in custom software for small businesses, websites, inventory systems, customer management platforms. Nothing revolutionary, but we did good work and word spread. Revenue hit $500,000. I paid myself $80,000 and reinvested the rest. My family thought I was still freelancing from home. I didn't correct them. They didn't ask for details. Year 4, we landed our first major client. A regional healthcare company needed a complete system overhaul. They paid us $200,000 for the project. We delivered in 6 months, under budget, ahead of schedule. They gave us a testimonial and referred us to 3 other companies. Revenue hit $2 million. We had 15 employees, real office space, legitimate business. I bought a house, not as nice as Melissa's, but mine. I paid for it myself. Well, I got a mortgage like a normal person, but I paid the down payment with money I earned. I didn't post about it on Facebook, didn't tell my family, just moved in and started building equity. Year 5, CrossTech Studios exploded. We landed 5 major clients: healthcare, education, finance. We were building a reputation as the company that delivered. Revenue hit $8 million. I hired aggressively, 30 employees, bigger office, better equipment. I paid off my student loans, all $40,000, gone. I cried when I made the final payment. My parents still had no idea. They thought I was doing okay as a freelancer, making enough to get by. Meanwhile, Melissa quit her job at the hotel. It was too stressful. She was doing freelance social media consulting, which meant posting on Instagram and occasionally managing Facebook pages for local businesses. She made maybe $10,000 a year. My parents supported her, paid her utilities, her car insurance, her groceries. She's building a business, they said. We're investing in her future. Year 6, I was 33 years old. CrossTech Studios was valued at $20 million. We had 75 employees. Revenue was $15 million annually. I was worth about $8 million personally. I drove a sensible Toyota, lived in my modest house, wore jeans and hoodies to work. I didn't look like a multimillionaire. I looked like a guy who was doing okay. My family came to visit once. They were in town and stopped by my house. "This is nice," my mother said, looking around. "You've done well for yourself." "Thanks. Still doing the freelance thing?" "Yeah, something like that." "Well, it's good you're stable. Melissa's business is really taking off. She has 20 clients now. 20 clients at maybe $500 a month each, $10,000 a month. Good money, except my parents were still paying most of her bills, so really she had play money while they covered her actual expenses." "That's great for Melissa. We're so proud of her. Entrepreneurship is hard." I bit my tongue. Entrepreneurship is hard when you actually have to pay for things. When your parents aren't bankrolling your life, it's real entrepreneurship. They left after an hour, didn't ask about my business, didn't ask about my life, just talked about Melissa and her accomplishments and her struggles and how proud they were. I closed the door behind them and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just empty. Year 7, things changed. I got an acquisition offer. A major tech company wanted to buy CrossTech Studios for $60 million. I negotiated them up to $75 million. I sold. After taxes and paying out my employees and investors, I walked away with $42 million. At 34 years old, I was worth $42 million. I bought a new house, beautiful house in an expensive neighborhood, 5 bedrooms, pool, gourmet kitchen, $1.8 million, paid cash. I bought a nice car, Tesla Model S, not crazy flashy, but nice. I started dressing better, not suits, but quality clothes that fit well. I traveled, went to Japan, Italy, New Zealand, first-class flights, nice hotels. And I still didn't tell my family. They found out by accident. My cousin Sarah, who I actually liked, saw me at an airport. I was flying first class to Tokyo. She was in economy going to visit family. We talked for a bit. She asked what I was doing. Business trip, I said, which was partially true. I was looking at investment opportunities, which is business. Must be doing well if you're flying first class. I'm doing okay. She hugged me. I'm proud of you, Daniel. You've always worked so hard. It was the first time anyone in my family had said they were proud of me in years. 2 weeks later, she mentioned to my mother that she'd seen me at the airport, flying first class to Tokyo. My mother called. Sarah said she saw you at the airport. Yeah, we ran into each other. She said you were flying first class to Japan. Yeah, that must have been expensive. It was fine. Daniel, what exactly are you doing for work? You said freelancing, but freelancers don't usually fly first class internationally. I sold my company. Silence. Your company? What company? Crossdeck Studios. I started it 7 years ago. We did custom software. I sold it last year. You had a company for 7 years, and you never mentioned it. You never asked. How much did you sell it for? I hesitated, then figured what the hell, 75 million. I heard her gasp, $75 million. Yeah. Daniel, that's incredible. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have cared? Of course we would have cared. You're our son. Am I? Because for the last 15 years, it seems like you have one child, and it's not me. That's not fair. Isn't it? You've given Melissa everything. Paid for her college, her car, her rent, her house. You've given her maybe $1 million over the years. You gave me nothing. Not because you couldn't afford to, because you chose not to. We gave what each child needed. No, you gave what each child asked for. Melissa asked for everything and got it. I stopped asking because I knew the answer would be no. Daniel. I have to go, Mom. I'll talk to you later. I hung up. Within an hour, my phone was blowing up. My father called. Melissa called. Aunts and uncles I hadn't heard from in years started calling. I ignored all of it. 2 days later, my parents showed up at my new house. I'd never given them the address, but Sarah must have told them the neighborhood and they found it. They stood in my driveway, staring at the house. You bought this? My father asked. Yeah. With the money from your company? Yeah. They came inside, walked through like they were in a museum. Pool in the backyard, gourmet kitchen, home theater, office with a view. This is incredible, my mother said. Daniel, why didn't you tell us you were doing so well? Why would I? Because we're your family. We want to be part of your life. Do you, or do you want to be part of my success now that it's impressive enough to brag about? That's not fair, my father said. Let me ask you something, Dad. When I was working 80-hour weeks building my company, living in that terrible apartment, did you ever ask how I was doing? Did you ever offer to help? You seemed like you were doing fine. I was eating ramen and sleeping 4 hours a night. I was the opposite of fine, but you didn't notice because you were too busy funding Melissa's life. We helped Melissa because she needed it. She needed it because you never taught her to be independent. You gave her everything, and now she can't function without your money. She's building a business, my mother said defensively. She's playing at business while you pay her bills. That's not entrepreneurship. That's a hobby funded by parents who can't let go. My mother started crying. We love you both equally. Then show me the receipts. Add up what you've given each of us, because I'm pretty sure Melissa's total is close to $1 million and mine is 0. You never needed our help. You were always so capable. I needed you to see me, to acknowledge my work, to be proud of me, but you weren't. You were only proud of Melissa because she needed you. I was just the kid who didn't require attention. We stood in my beautiful kitchen in my beautiful house that I bought with money I made myself, and I felt the same way I'd felt my whole life, invisible. We're proud of you now, my father said. Now that I'm rich, now that I'm successful enough to brag about, that's not pride, Dad, that's opportunism. What do you want from us? My mother asked. Nothing. I don't want anything from you. That's the point. I built this without you. I don't need your money or your approval or your pride. I just wanted you to know that the son you ignored is worth $42 million. The daughter you poured $1 million into is still living off your money, and maybe that tells you something about your parenting. Daniel, please, my mother said, don't shut us out. We made mistakes, but we can fix this. How? You can't ungive Melissa $1 million. You can't go back and help me through college or with my first apartment or with my business. It's done. The inequality is permanent. We can try to make it up to you, my father said. With what? Money. I have money, more than you. I don't need your money now. I needed your support 20 years ago. They left shortly after. My mother was crying. My father looked older than I'd ever seen him. I felt bad for about 5 minutes. Then I remembered every birthday where Melissa got a party and I got a cake, every Christmas where she got gifts and I got socks, every milestone where she got celebration and I got a polite nod. The guilt disappeared. Melissa called that night, I answered. Daniel, Mom said you sold a company for $75 million. Yeah. That's insane. I had no idea you were doing so well. Why would you? You never asked about my life. That's not true. I care about you. When's the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about you? Silence. Exactly, Melissa, I love you. You're my sister, but you're also the most self-absorbed person I know, and that's not entirely your fault. Mom and Dad made you that way by centering everything around you. That's mean. It's honest, you're 28 years old and you've never paid for anything yourself. You live in a house Mom and Dad bought, drive a car they bought. They pay your utilities and insurance. You're not independent. You're a dependent claiming to be an adult. I'm building a business. With their money, that's not building, Melissa. That's playing house with someone else's credit card. I can't believe you're being this cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest for the first time in our lives. You've got everything handed to you and I've got nothing, and somehow I'm the one who succeeded. What does that tell you? That you're an asshole who thinks money makes you better than everyone. No, I think working for what you have makes you appreciate it. You wouldn't understand that because you've never worked for anything. She hung up on me. Over the next few weeks, my extended family weighed in. Some thought I was being too harsh. Some thought my parents had clearly favored Melissa and I had every right to be angry. Family gatherings became awkward. I'd show up, stay for an hour, leave. My parents would try to talk to me. I'd be polite but distant. Melissa avoided me entirely. 6 months after the revelation, things came to a head. Melissa's business failed. Turns out when you have no real skills and your only clients are people your parents know who hired you out of pity, you can't sustain a business. She got a real job, retail management at a clothing store, $40,000 a year. My parents were still paying her mortgage, her car payment, her insurance. She called them crying one night. I wasn't there, but my mother told me later. Melissa was stressed about money. She couldn't afford her lifestyle on $40,000 a year. We told her we'd help, my mother said. Of course you did. What were we supposed to do? Let her struggle? Yes, let her struggle. Let her learn that actions have consequences and you can't live beyond your means forever. That's cruel. No, it's called being an adult. I've been doing it my whole life. Daniel, please, can you help your sister? I laughed, actually laughed. Are you serious? You want me to give Melissa money? You have so much, she's struggling, your family. Let me get this straight. For 34 years, you've given her everything and me nothing. You funded her entire existence while I paid for everything myself. And now that she's struggling and I'm successful, you want me to bail her out. She's your sister. And you're my parents, but that didn't stop you from treating us completely differently. Why should I help her when you never helped me? Because you're better than that. Am I, or am I just the backup plan now that you realize your golden child can't function without your money? Please, Daniel. No. No. No, I'm not giving Melissa money. I'm not bailing her out. She needs to learn to stand on her own 2 feet, something I learned at 18 and she still hasn't learned at 28. You're being selfish. I'm being fair. I succeeded without help. She can too. My mother stopped calling after that. 2 months later, Melissa had to sell her house. She couldn't afford it on her salary, and my parents finally cut her off. Not completely, but they stopped paying her mortgage. She sold for $400,000, made a small profit since the market had gone up. After paying off the mortgage my parents had put on it for some reason, she walked away with about $60,000. She moved into an apartment, a nice apartment, but not a house, not the dream life Instagram house she'd had. She posted about it online, downsizing and simplifying, sometimes less is more. The comments were supportive, people who didn't know she was only simplifying because she couldn't afford the life her parents had bought her. I didn't comment. A few months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop. We both froze. Daniel. Melissa. Awkward silence. How are you? She asked. Good, you. I'm okay, adjusting to apartment life. It's not so bad once you get used to it. Were you always this bitter? Was I bitter, or was I just the only one living in reality while you lived in a fantasy funded by our parents? You really think I had it so easy? I don't think, Melissa. I know. I have receipts. Literal receipts of every dollar they gave you and every dollar they didn't give me. It's not even close. Maybe they gave me more money, but you got other things. Like what? Their respect. They always talked about how smart you were, how capable. I was just the pretty one who needed help. I stared at her. Are you seriously trying to make yourself the victim here? I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just saying it wasn't all perfect for me. You got $1 million and a house and cars and a funded life. I got student loans and indifference. There's no universe where you had it harder. You got their respect. I got ignored. There's a difference. They respected me enough to leave me alone. They loved you enough to give you everything. I'd have taken love over respect. She looked down at her coffee. I'm sorry for not seeing it, for taking everything for granted. You're right. I had it easy and I didn't appreciate it. It was the first time she'd ever apologized for anything. Thank you. Are we ever going to be okay, you and Mace? I don't know, maybe, but it's going to take time, a lot of time. I have time. I'm not going anywhere. We talked for another hour, really talked for the first time in years. She told me about her struggles, her realization that she didn't know how to function as an adult, her fear of disappointing everyone. I told her about my years of feeling invisible, watching her get everything, building my company out of spite and anger. It wasn't healing, but it was honest. We started meeting for coffee once a month, slowly, carefully, rebuilding something that resembled a sibling relationship. My parents were harder. They wanted instant forgiveness, instant reconciliation. I wasn't ready to give it. We've apologized, my father said at a tense family dinner. What more do you want? I want you to understand what you did, not just apologize, understand. We treated you differently than your sister. We get it. No, you favored her for 30 years. You poured $1 million into her life and nothing into mine. You celebrated her mediocrity and ignored my achievements. You made me feel worthless while making her feel entitled. That's not different treatment. That's fundamentally unequal parenting. We did our best, my mother said. Your best was terrible for both of us. You handicapped Melissa by never letting her struggle, and you abandoned me by assuming I didn't need support. Your best damaged both your children in different ways. So what do you want from us? My father asked, frustrated. Accountability, real accountability, not we did our best. Admit that you played favorites. Admit that you failed me. Admit that the only reason you care about my success now is because it's impressive enough to brag about. Silence. My mother spoke first. You're right, we played favorites. We gave Melissa everything because she asked for it and you didn't. We took the easy path of saying yes to her and the lazy path of ignoring you. We failed you, completely. And we're only proud of you now because your success is impossible to ignore. If you were still struggling, we probably wouldn't notice. That's the truth, and I'm ashamed of it. My father nodded. I'm ashamed too. You deserved better. You deserved parents who saw you and supported you and celebrated you. We weren't those parents. I'm sorry. It wasn't enough. Years of damage can't be fixed with one conversation, but it was a start. Thank you, I said. That's a start. We're working on it now. Family therapy, regular dinners, actual conversations. It's awkward and painful and slow. But it's something. Melissa got a better job. She's a marketing manager now making $70,000 a year. She's living within her means. She's even started saving money. My parents stopped funding her life. They paid off her car and then cut her off financially. We should have done this years ago, my mother told her. We hurt you by helping you too much. It's been 2 years since I told them about the company sale. I'm 36 now, still wealthy, started investing in other companies, doing angel investing in startups. My relationship with my family is better, not perfect, but better. Melissa and I are actually close now. She calls me for advice. We have dinner every couple weeks. She's becoming her own person, finally, at 30. My parents and I are cordial. We're working toward more. It's slow, but we're trying. The anger has faded, not disappeared, but faded. I don't feel invisible anymore. I don't need their validation. I built a life that's mine, success that's mine, wealth that I earned. And that's enough. Would I do it again? The years of struggle, the resentment, the distance from my family? Probably not, but those years made me who I am. Strong, independent, self-made. My sister got $1 million and a house. I got nothing and built $42 million. In the end, maybe I got the better deal after all. Character count, approximately 29,000 characters. I apologize, I need to expand significantly to reach 53,000 plus characters. Let me continue the story. The real shift in my relationship with my family happened about 6 months after that difficult dinner. My mother called me on a random Tuesday afternoon. Daniel, I need to tell you something. What's up, Mom? I've been going through old boxes, photos, documents, things from when you were kids, and I found something that made me realize just how badly we failed you. What did you find? Your report cards, all of them, from elementary school through high school. Do you know what your lowest grade was, ever? No. A minus once in PA, in 7th grade. Every other grade was an A. You were valedictorian. You got a perfect score on the SAT math section. You won the state science fair, twice. I remember. Daniel, I don't remember any of that. I remember Melissa making the cheerleading squad. I remember her school plays. I remember her art show. But I don't remember your science fair wins. I wasn't there, was I? I was quiet for a moment. No, Moms, you weren't there. Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you make us come? I did. I told you the dates. I gave you flyers. You said you were busy with Melissa's things. After a while, I stopped telling you. I heard her crying on the other end. I found the flyers in a box. You'd drawn little stars on them, written, "Please come on one." You were 12. I felt my chest tighten. I remembered that, the state science fair. I'd built a functioning robot that could navigate obstacles. I'd worked on it for 6 months. I'd been so proud. My parents had gone to Melissa's dance recital instead. She'd been a tree in the background. Mom. No, let me finish. I found everything you'd accomplished. Every award, every honor, every achievement. You kept them all in a box. Did we ever acknowledge any of them? Not really. We went to Melissa's volleyball games where she sat on the bench, but we missed your robotics competitions where you won state championships. We framed Melissa's participation certificates. Your actual trophies are in a box in your old closet. I know. How did you turn out okay? How are you not more damaged by this? Who says I'm not damaged? I spent my entire 20s working myself to death to prove I was worth something. I built a company out of spite. I'm $42 million rich, and I still feel like the kid whose parents didn't show up to his science fair. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you are, Moms. Your father and I have been talking. We want to make it right. You can't, that time is gone. You can't go back and come to my robotics competitions. You can't retroactively celebrate my achievements. It's done. We can do something. Please, let us try. I sighed. What did you have in mind? A week later, my parents invited me to their house. When I arrived, the living room had been transformed. The walls that usually displayed Melissa's dance photos and cheerleading pictures had been changed. Now there were photos of me, my science fair projects, my high school graduation where I gave the valedictorian speech, my college graduation, articles about Crossdeck Studios, the Forbes feature about my company sale. We're redoing the house, my mother said. We're going to celebrate both our children equally. We should have done this decades ago. It was a small gesture, but it meant something. My father pulled out a frame. Inside was the flyer I'd made for the state science fair, the one with stars and "Please come" written on it. I'm framing this, he said, his voice thick, to remind me every day of the moments I missed, the son I neglected. Dad. No, I need this reminder. I failed you, Daniel, spectacularly, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you know I see it. I see you, finally. We stood in that living room surrounded by my achievements displayed for the first time, and I cried, actually cried. Not because it fixed anything, but because they were finally trying. Melissa came over later. She saw the photos. Wow, I never knew you did all this stuff. You never asked. I know, I was a terrible sister. I was so caught up in my own life, I never looked at yours. We were kids. Kids are self-centered. That's normal. I'm not a kid anymore, and I'm still learning about you, like you built a robot in 7th grade. Yeah, it could navigate mazes autonomously. That's incredible. I was learning a dance routine. Your dance routine mattered too. Not as much as a robot. Daniel, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you hate me for getting everything? I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I don't hate you. I resent the situation. I resent mom and dad's choices. But you were a kid receiving gifts. You didn't know any better. How could you? I'm an adult now. I know better now. And I'm sorry for every time I took something for granted, for every time I didn't acknowledge your work, for being the favorite while you were invisible. Thank you. I want to be a better sister. Can you teach me how? Over the next year, I taught Melissa about money management, how to budget, how to save, how to invest. She was a good student. Turned out when she actually had to learn things, she was capable. She saved her first $10,000 and called me crying. I've never had savings before. Everything was always just given to me or paid for. This money I earned. I saved it. It's mine. How does it feel? Scary but good, really good. She started investing, small amounts in index funds. I helped her set up a retirement account. I'm 29, she said. I should have started this 10 years ago. You're starting now, that's what matters. My parents watched Melissa's transformation with pride and guilt. We did this to her, my mother said. We made her helpless. You're fixing it now, I said. That counts for something. My relationship with my parents improved slowly. We had dinners every month, real conversations. They asked about my life, my investments, my interests. They stopped talking about how proud they were of Melissa's basic adult achievements, stopped posting every minor thing she did on Facebook. They started treating us like equals. It was weird, uncomfortable at first, but good. I met someone, her name was Claire. She was a teacher, grounded and kind and unimpressed by my wealth. So you're rich, she said on our third date. That's nice, but are you kind? That's what I care about. I fell in love with her for that. I brought her to a family dinner 6 months into dating. My parents were on their best behavior, welcoming, warm, interested in her work. Melissa and Claire bonded over shared interests in social media and marketing. Your family seems nice, Claire said afterward. They're trying, it's new for all of us. Trying is good, trying means they care. We got engaged a year later. I proposed on a quiet beach, just us in the sunset, no grand gestures, just love. The wedding planning revealed more family dynamics. My mother offered to pay for the wedding. It's what we do for our children. I thought about the fact that she'd probably pay for Melissa's wedding too, the same amount for both of us. Equality, finally. That's generous, Mom, but Claire and I are paying for our own wedding. Daniel, please let us do this. Why? Because we want to give you something. We gave Melissa so much. Let us give you this. I talked to Claire about it. It's your choice, she said, but maybe this is their way of trying to balance the scales. We let them contribute. They gave us $50,000 toward the wedding, the same amount they were planning to give Melissa whenever she got married. The wedding was beautiful, small, intimate, perfect. My parents cried during our vows. Melissa was a bridesmaid and gave a speech about how I'd taught her what real success looked like. My brother built an empire while I was playing house, she said. He's the strongest person I know, and I'm grateful every day that he's giving me a second chance to be the sister he deserves. It was healing for all of us. Claire and I bought a house together, smaller than my previous house. We didn't need 5 bedrooms and a pool, just space for us and maybe future kids. Melissa came over to help us paint, got paint in her hair and laughed about it. This is nice, she said, manual labor, building something. You're welcome to help anytime. I might take you up on that. My parents came over for dinner once we were settled. My mother brought a housewarming gift, a framed photo of me at the state science fair, holding my first place trophy, beaming with pride. I should have been there, she said. I can't change that, but I want you to remember that moment. Remember that you've always been extraordinary, even when we failed to see it. I hung the photo in my office. Life continued. Claire and I had our first child, a daughter we named Sarah. My parents were attentive grandparents, equal time with Sarah and with Melissa's future children. Melissa met someone, a good guy named Tom who worked in education. He didn't have money, but he had character. She brought him to family dinner nervous about our reaction. He's not rich, she said. He's a high school teacher, but he's kind and he loves me. That's all that matters, my father said. Tom and I got along well. He reminded me of myself years ago, hardworking, humble, building a life through effort. They got engaged. My parents gave them the same $50,000 they'd given Claire and me. Melissa cried. Thank you for treating us equally, she told them. We should have done it all along, my mother said. Melissa's wedding was lovely, smaller than it would have been if she'd married during her funded life era, but more meaningful. I was a groomsman, gave a speech about second chances and growth and becoming the people we're meant to be. Melissa and Tom bought a small house. They got a mortgage like normal people, furnished it slowly as they could afford things. Melissa called me from her new house, excited. We bought a couch, with our own money, a real couch. Congratulations. I know it's silly to be excited about a couch, but I bought it, we saved for it, it's ours. That's not silly, that's growth. She was learning, finally at 31, she was learning what I'd known at 18. My parents retired, sold their big house and moved to a smaller place in a retirement community, downsizing, simplifying. We don't need all that space, my father said. We were keeping up appearances, we're done with that. They gave Melissa and me equal amounts from the house sale, $200,000 each. We know it doesn't make up for the past inequality, my mother said, but it's a start. I invested mine. Melissa paid off her mortgage and invested the rest. We were both doing well, different versions of well, but well. At a family dinner, my father raised a glass. To my children, both of them, I'm proud of you both for different reasons. Daniel, you built an empire from nothing. You're stronger than I ever was. Melissa, you learned to stand on your own feet. You grew when it would have been easier to stay dependent. I'm proud of both of you. Finally, equally, truly proud. We drank to that. Later, Melissa and I stood on my parents' porch, watching our spouses inside talking to our parents. Do you think we're okay now? She asked. Our family. I think we're healing. That's different than okay, but it's something. I'm glad you didn't give up on us. You could have. You had every right to walk away and never look back. You're my family, broken, dysfunctional family, but family. For what it's worth, I think you're amazing, not because you're rich, because you survived our childhood and became someone good anyway. You're becoming someone good too. I'm trying, every day I'm trying. That's where we are now. I'm 38, worth about $60 million after investments, happily married with 2 kids, building a life that's mine. Melissa is 33, living modestly, working hard, married to a good man, building a life she can be proud of. My parents are 70, retired, finally learning to be equal grandparents. We have family dinners once a month. We talk honestly. We're working through decades of damage slowly, carefully. It's not perfect. We still have hard conversations, still unpack old wounds, still struggle with the inequality that defined our childhoods. But we're trying. And maybe that's enough. I think about the kid I was, the one whose parents missed his science fairs, who ate ramen while his sister ate steak, who built a company out of spite. That kid would be amazed at where I am now, not because of the money, because of the family that finally sees him. I don't regret the struggle. It made me who I am, strong, independent, resilient. But I'm glad the struggle is over. I'm glad to be seen. Finally, after 38 years, I'm visible to my family. And that's worth more than $42 million. Well, almost.